Hi, I'm Steve, insurance agent here at the Horan Company's insurance agency. If you're watching this video, it's because you are interested in finding out how the quoting process works for auto insurance here at Horan. What you're about to realize is that there are a lot of pieces of information and a lot of coverages that we get asked about just about every time we set out to quote an auto insurance policy. So let's get started on some of the most frequent questions we are asked and topics we are asked to address when doing an auto insurance quote. The first is, what kind of personal information will we be needing in order to complete a full quote? The second is, what types of coverage come standard on an auto insurance policy? The third is, what are deductibles and how do they work? The fourth is, what is rental car reimbursement? The fifth is, what is roadside assistance coverage? The sixth is, what available discounts are there? The seventh is, when should I expect to receive my quote? And finally, the eighth, if I decide to go with you, how does my old policy get canceled? We will address all of those topics coming up here shortly within this video. I hope you enjoy. While all of the information about the vehicles on the policy are going to be important, what's more important are all of the pieces of information about you and others on the insurance policy. So therefore, you can expect to be asked a few specific things unique to you. And those things will include your date of birth, your address, your driver's license number, and your social security number. All of those items will help us to determine the best quote for you. So carriers ask for your date of birth simply to verify your age. Your date of birth combined with your driver's license number and your social security number helps to make sure that you are exactly who you say you are. Where you live has a great impact on what your auto insurance rate is likely to be. That is why the insurance carrier will want to know what your residential address is when doing a quote for you. This is not to be confused with your mailing address, which could be a completely separate one altogether. The insurance carrier is going to want to know where you live and ultimately where your vehicle is garaged. Your driver's license number is used to make sure that you haven't had any issues out on the road. Issues meaning no tickets, no moving violations. Any of those will greatly impact your insurance rate, so we make sure that we find that out on the front end so that we don't have any surprises afterwards. Your financial history is a big part of determining what your auto insurance rate is going to be. That's why each carrier asks for the social security number of each listed named insured on every auto policy. We ask for that up front so that we can make sure that we provide to you the best quote possible and one that will be the most accurate. The social security number does not mean that there is going to be a hard pull on your credit report, so thereby your score will also not be impacted. So on an auto insurance policy, you will find 5 pieces of standard coverage regardless of what kind of auto insurance policy you've purchased. The first will be bodily injury liability protection. That is going to come at a very basic minimum of $25,000 per person up to $50,000 per accident. Those limits are the state-mandated minimum amount of coverage that you need to carry in order to put your vehicle on the road. I would highly encourage anyone watching this to increase that amount. For further information on that, be sure to see our other videos regarding bodily injury coverage on an auto policy in New York State. The second component is property damage liability. This pays for all of the things that you happen to hit while on the road. So if you happen to hit another vehicle, public property like a guardrail or a street light, let's say, or a stop sign, this is the part of the policy that will respond. In New York State, there is a minimum limit of $10,000. Again, I strongly encourage you to increase that limit. $10,000 does not go very far in the event that you happen to damage someone else's property. The third component is uninsured motorist coverage. Uninsured motorist coverage is what applies when someone else who is not carrying any insurance injures you in an auto accident. The minimum required coverage for this particular piece of insurance on your auto policy is $25,000 per person, not to exceed $50,000 for the total accident. The fourth piece is called personal injury protection, otherwise known as no-fault insurance. No fault is what pays for you in the event that you are injured in a car accident. It picks up the cost of the ambulance ride, if there is one, and any doctor's bills or related medical expenses resulting from the car accident. It does not matter whose fault it was. Each particular person injured in the car accident goes back to the insurance carrier of the vehicle in which they were riding. Each policy in New York comes standard with $50,000 in no-fault benefits protection. You can purchase more, and currently the limit is up to $175,000 for each occupant riding in the vehicle. But regardless of what you choose, rest assured that every policy comes equipped with $50,000 per person for your no-fault benefits insurance. And finally, the fifth piece, medical payments. Medical payments is a piece of coverage that applies for when the personal injury protection or no-fault benefit would not. It's unusual in New York State to have to tap the medical payments, so some policies might not even have it on there at all. However, if it is, that's when this particular part of the coverage would apply. Usually you'll see anywhere between $1,000 to $5,000 on any one auto insurance policy. So how do deductibles work on your auto insurance policy? So there are three areas that you're likely to find a deductible on most common auto insurance policies. The first is for comprehensive coverage. Comprehensive coverage is likely to see a deductible from anywhere between $50 to as high as $2,000. It just depends on what you've chosen. But let's say you've had a $4,000 loss. Well, if that were the case and it was a comprehensive claim and you had a deductible of $500, well then you would pay the first $500 and then the insurance carrier would come in and pay the additional $3,500. The same works for the second area where you'll find a deductible, and that's within your collision coverage. Same rule applies. You pick up the first dollar amount, so if you have anywhere between a $50 to a $500 or a $1,000 or a $2,000 deductible for your collision, then you would cover that amount before the insurance carrier would come in and pay whatever possible balance was left, subject to the policy terms. And finally, the third place is within your personal injury protection or your no-fault benefits coverage. In the event that you are hurt in an accident and you need to seek medical assistance, you will need to do that through your own auto insurance policy and not through your major health care. When doing so, you may find a deductible on your insurance policy. It could be as high as $200. So look there to make sure that you don't see a deductible as it applies to your no-fault personal injury protection. Here at Haran, we try to make a point to never have deductibles put in for your no-fault benefits. If you're hurt in an accident, we would rather you not have any surprises when you have to seek medical treatment. So car insurance doesn't have a lot of available endorsements, but it does have a couple. One of them is called the rental car reimbursement endorsement. This is the one that will pay you if you have to rent a vehicle because your vehicle was involved in a car accident. Whether it's a single car accident or you were involved in multiple cars, when your vehicle is in the shop to be repaired because of this accident, you'll need something else to drive. So the rental car reimbursement will give you up to a certain dollar amount per day as listed on the policy for about a month's time. If you own a minivan and that was the car that was involved in the accident, you'll want to make sure that the dollar amount applied to this particular endorsement is enough to rent a similar vehicle if you'll need one of that size while your car is in the shop. This particular coverage, however, does not apply to when your vehicle is simply in the shop for just general repairs. That's something that this particular endorsement would not be able to respond to. But if your car is involved in an accident and it's going to be laid up for a few days or weeks, this could be a great endorsement for your consideration. Just make sure it's on the policy before the accident. Here in Central New York, there are a few months out of the year where we definitely don't want to be stranded on the side of the road. Thankfully, there is an endorsement for your auto insurance that can help answer just in case this were to happen to you. The endorsement is called Towing and Labor or Roadside Assistance coverage. It offers a few different things, but here are some of the pieces that come standard with just about every insurance carrier who offers it. The first is towing. If you were to break down and need a tow, you can call a number and the insurance carrier will dispatch the local towing operator to come out and tow you for anywhere between 15 to 35 miles, depends on the carrier. Or they'll reimburse you the cost for having to get towed, and that can usually range anywhere between $50 per $100 for the tow itself. If you go beyond that, you may have to pay the difference. The next piece of this coverage that's very helpful is if you were to blow out a tire, the insurance carrier will allow for someone to come and replace the tire for you. This stuff does not cover the cost of the tire itself, just for having the tire changed. The other piece that's very helpful is if you lock your keys in the car. So if you do that, you can also call the number and have someone come out, open the door for you, and help get you back on your way. A fourth piece is if your battery were to die. You can have someone come out and jumpstart your car as part of this coverage. And finally, if you run out of gas. If you were to run out of gas, then someone can come out and bring you some fuel to get you back on your way and hopefully to the next closest gas station. While it won't cover the cost of the fuel, it will cover you for the cost of having someone come out to deliver you the gas. And that's what you can expect from the Roadside Assistance endorsement. So it's a great piece of coverage to add if you do not have some kind of service that you already purchased through another provider, like AAA. So we all love to save a little bit of money. And here are some of the ways that you can save money by utilizing some car insurance discounts available to you. The first is the paid in full discount. Pay the entire policy off in one payment and you can expect to receive a sizable discount for doing so. The next is the defensive driver course. Take this 6-hour defensive driver course and anyone on the policy who does so and who is assigned to a vehicle can expect to receive 10% off of different coverage components within the auto insurance premium. The next is the multi-car discount. The more vehicles on the policy, the less each car will cost. And finally, the multi-policy discount. If you have another policy besides the auto insurance policy written through the same carrier, you can expect to receive a multi-policy discount. So those are just some of the ways to save money on your car insurance. So now that you've given us all this information, when can you expect to receive your quote? You can expect to receive your car insurance quote from us sometime before the end of the next business day, perhaps even sooner. Now that we have all of the information we need, we have sent it out to all of our various carriers and wait for the best possible price with the best possible coverage to put together into a proposal and send off your way for consideration. We look forward to having a continued conversation about this proposal and any other insurance questions you may have. So many of our new clients have asked this same question. Who's going to tell my existing carrier or agent that I've decided to go over with you guys? Who's going to cancel that insurance policy? Do I have to call? Thankfully, the answer is no. We will take care of canceling the existing policy that you have in force. Through a signed form, we will send it over to the existing carrier or agent with an exact date of when the new policy is about to begin or has begun. Anything that you've paid in advance of that date will then be refunded back to you. On a regular personal auto insurance policy, you shouldn't expect to see any cancellation fees or any other surcharges because you've decided to leave early. You don't have to wait until the renewal date. You can go when you're ready, and we will take care of notifying the other carrier so you don't have to. So there you have it, the most frequently asked about topics pertaining to an auto insurance quote. If we didn't address one of the questions that you have in this video, shoot us an email, give us a call, and we're happy to discuss and answer any further questions you may have.